Let's talk real estate market update for Cumming, Georgia. We're going to take a look at the average days on market for homes here. We'll also take a look at the average sold price in this area, and we'll see how many homes have been coming up for sale and how many homes have been sold. When it comes to days on market, what we're measuring is how long a home stays on the market before it goes under contract. And this helps us understand how much demand there is for homes. So if a home stays on the market for a whole lot of time, that means that there's not a lot of demand for that home. And if homes go off the market very quickly, then that means that there's a lot of demand for that home. So the lower the amount of days on market, the more demand there is for homes. In Cumming, Georgia, in April, the average days on market for a listing was 6 days. And then in May, it jumped up to 8 days. In June, went up to 10 days. And in July, so far, at the time of filming this video, it's gone up to 13 days. So average days on market incoming are certainly increasing. So we're seeing little by little less demand for homes here as the year is progressing. Keep in mind that here in Georgia, public schools start a little earlier than some of the other states in the United States. So I believe public schools in Cumming start like the first week of August or the second week of August. So typically we kind of see a drastic slowdown in market demand for homes right around July, maybe even the end of July. So this is kind of normal for this area, but it's a little less demand than we have seen in the past. What's up, everybody? My name is Victor with Atlanta Suburban Living, and we put out videos every week about what it's like to live in Atlanta and the surrounding suburbs of Atlanta. The next thing you definitely need to know about when it comes to the housing market in Cumming is people who often are considering moving to Cumming are also usually considering Alpharetta as well. Because these two cities border each other, Cumming is just north of Alpharetta. They're very similar in a lot of ways, but the homes in Cumming cost a little less than in Alpharetta. So you can get a lot more home for your money in Cumming, and you can kind of get a lot of the same amenities, or you can easily drive to Alpharetta, maybe 15, 20 minutes tops to get to Alpharetta. So very often people who are considering Alpharetta also look at Cumming. So this is a really important thing to think about, especially because as Alpharetta home prices are increasing, more people kind of start to lean towards the city of Cumming. It's like, you know, that $600,000 or $700,000 price range is right there on the line. And so once you get to 800,000, now you're a little higher than the average Alpharetta home price. And for a lot of people, that means, you know what? Let's just stick to Cumming. You can get more home there. You can get a lot of the same amenities. And so for a lot of people, these two homes are both in consideration. But in Cumming, not only do you get lower home prices, but you also get less competition in Cumming. So this really is kind of a win-win for many people. For example, this is a typical $635,000 home in Cumming. And let's compare this to a home in Alpharetta. Actually, trying to find a home in Alpharetta right now for this video, and I literally can't find a single home in Alpharetta being sold between 600 and 650,000. So that really gives you a good idea. I really wanted to show you a comparison. Like, this is a $650,000 home in Cumming, and this is a $650,000 home in Alpharetta to show you the difference. But there's literally nothing on the market right now in Alpharetta between 600 and 650. So just goes to show that the prices in Alpharetta are super high. Another number that we can look at to determine how the housing market is going is how many homes are being sold in that city each month. If you're thinking about buying a home in Cumming or any part of Metro Atlanta, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. Even if you just have a question about what it's like to live here, I'm always happy to help with your moving needs. But when it comes to the amount of homes that are being sold in Cumming, in April, there was 176 homes sold. In May, there was 179 homes sold. In June, there was 186 homes sold. And then now in July, we're at 154. So we're starting to see that it's going to slow down here in July. And this is, again, pretty typical for what the housing market does in many cities around Atlanta as the school year is starting. But I think that it also shows that like the housing market is not in some kind of danger. There's still plenty of people buying homes, but we're just seeing a healthy trending downward in the amount of demand as the school year is starting. And then when it comes to the average sold prices for homes incoming, in April, the average sold price was 650,000. In May, it was 652,000. In June, there was a big dip down to 589,000. And then in July, a bit upward to 615,000. It can be kind of hard sometimes to understand why we have that big downward dip in home prices there to 589 and then a rebound back up to 615. And I think in general, what we're seeing is that home prices are decreasing slowly. There's not a very big decrease. You know, if it went from 652 to 589, then yeah, that would be a big decrease. But we had that big rebound in July back up to 615. And so if we look at this on a long enough timeline, what we're seeing is that it's a slow decrease in home prices as we're heading into the fall or approaching the fall. And again, in my opinion, this is the sign of a healthy market. We're not seeing any big dips upward or big spikes upward or big dips downward. And so to be expected incoming, very big difference compared to Alpharetta, where the average home price is like 800,000. So in general, what we're seeing is that the housing market is starting to slow down a bit here incoming. By far, one of the best parts about living here is that the people here are very friendly, very down to earth, very humble, very relatable here in the city of Cumming. And this is a very family friendly atmosphere. People are very welcoming, very accepting, very neighborly. I think this is a great city for any family to live in, or even if you're just starting a family or a retiree. In general, what you're going to see is that people are very welcoming, very friendly here in this city. The same cannot be said for every city in Metro Atlanta. And so, but there are also some downsides to living in Cumming. And there are some things that I think you need to be aware of if you're thinking about living in Cumming. Of course, we want to make sure that you have the whole picture, not just the good things. We want to make sure that you also understand the downsides of any one of these areas in case you're considering moving to or buying a home in any of these areas. So you really need to understand the pros and the cons of living in Cumming before you move here. In fact, I made an entire video about the pros and cons of Cumming, Georgia. You can check it out right here. I'll see you in the next one.